Welcome back to my garage. Last time we started the PiP2 engine. It's ready for testing in Colorado before Bonneville next week. Well, almost ready. There's a couple of tiny little things we need to fix. First up, we need to take 0.47 millimeters off the mating surface of these two. I took 0.67 off this, and then I had to use two extra 0.1 millimeter gaskets to get it up to the height I wanted. So we're gonna take off 0.2 millimeters less of these. So we'll have to do that. I have to clean up these two extra cases. We don't necessarily need to install bearings and stuff. They're ready for installing bearings. We've only got one extra crank. We need to cut the ignition trigger hole in this crank. So that needs to be done. I've received plugs and caps. I'll show you. Really splurged here, but in my case, it's justifiable. So shorty plugs and shorty caps. These are expensive. But with an upside down engine sitting close to the ground, with a spark plug being the first point of contact, well, not anymore. I think this is it's a wise decision. I ordered the correct plugs, which are the same as these, but in a shorty version. And they're supposed to be, these are 22 millimeter reach. I ordered IA01 plugs, and I received IAE01 plugs, and these are 19 millimeter reach, the common reach. I got the wrong plugs. There's no time for me to complain and send them back and get the correct plugs. But going for a 22 millimeter reach plug was a stupid decision. I'm not quite sure why I did that. I'm really not sure why. Maybe because I thought maybe I'll just use these plugs, but it's easier to get 19 millimeter reach plugs, and we might have to, you know, maybe I lose these or something happens. So and also the old heads, which fits my cylinder, these are designed for 19 millimeter reach plugs. So long story short, if you've forgotten, there's grub screws Loctited into one end of these. That's the reason for using these long nuts, to make them airtight. I wanted longer nuts with you know those dome nuts? I wanted longer ones of those. Two cylinders done. The third one is already installed and have gotten the same treatment. Needs a little deburring. And 3 heads done. This one has already gotten the enlargement treatment. These two need slight little opening of the holes for a little leeway so that I can perfectly align them with the bore. Oh, forgot. These need threads. Somebody well, actually many have commented I should get a thread mill for my CNC machine. And it's really tempting because threading is boring. But it has to be done. So there's 18 holes now that needs to be threaded. Let's get to work. I said I was always going to use a vise after this incident, but that was in stainless steel, and this is like not grabby at all. Famous last words. So, well, here goes nothing. That drill bit has been used in stainless and destroyed in stainless. I think I need to sharpen some drill bits. That's better. WD-40 does an okay job, but this stuff is so much better. Even though it's super sticky and annoying to work with, but I'm switching over to this because it prevents the false bottoming incidents. Just so much smoother.
En el taller con sudor en la frente, mi motor nuevo, un sueño latente, dos tiempos.
So a little bit of, I think it's wear from the rotary valve wearing in.
Con mis manos y esta vieja llave, le doy forma a un rugido que sabe a pasión pura.
Johan Fichtel L6P commented that if I want to run a bearing like this, I have to have the other side fixed with screws. The other bearing, and the plan wasn't to have it fixed by screws. The plan was to have the press fit of the bearing hold the bearing in the case and also hold the crank in the race. The problem is that it's a pretty good slip fit in that bearing, and that's good really, but that means I don't need this type of bearing, and it means I can't run this type of bearing because as the crank isn't retained on one side, and with the axial forces from the variator, the inner ring and the rollers will be eaten up. So we'll have to replace this bearing with this bearing. This is 15 millimeters thick, and these bearings, the ones on the other side, they're 12 millimeters thick, and that means we'll have to make a little spacer. We had to disassemble anyways to clean everything and make it transportable on a plane. And we also need to double check that our little guide thing is actually accurate. Somebody commented that sometimes the keyway is cut not that accurate in these cranks, so it's worth to check, because I made my marked other crank guide thing registering in the keyway slot, and if that's not accurate, then we have a problem. I've made this custom ground bolt that'll just slip in there, and I can use that to push on in the press.
Te construyo con amor y paciencia. Eres mi escape, mi gran resistencia.
I've got this sleeve, and it's 52 millimeters outer diameter. So it needs to be taken down a slight little bit so that it slips in here. I don't want this to be a press fit.
Salta el fuego, comienza, mi máquina vive llena de presencia.
Spare crank ready.
La noche llega, el taller no descansa. Cada giro es un paso en la danza. Los tiempos gritan perfecta armonía. Es mi obra, mi motor, mi alegría. Oh, motor que cantas en la brisa. Tu rugido es mi mayor sonrisa.
Instead of thinking of this as fixing a mistake, let's call these high performance cast iron spacer rings. Depending on the fit, we might have to pull the bearing. This side is fairly slippy, but this might not be. We might have to pull the bearing in. We'll see. There. I'm gonna measure axial play, but it looks to be very, very good. We're actually ready. Like now we're ready to just disassemble, pack everything down. We're ready. But there's one more thing I wanna...
En el taller con sudor en la frente.
Kneecapped myself.
Mi motor nuevo, un sueño latente. Los tiempos rugen como un trueno distante. El corazón late con ritmo constante. Con mis manos y esta vieja llave le doy forma a un rugido que sabe a pasión pura y camino sin freno. Cada tuerca es un paso hacia el cielo. Oh, motor que cantas en la brisa, tu rugido es mi mayor sonrisa. Te construyo con amor y paciencia. Eres mi escape, mi gran resistencia. El humo baila como nubes ligeras, el aceite fluye historia enteras, la chispa salta, el fuego comienza, mi máquina vive llena de presencia, la noche llega, el taller no descansa, cada giro es un paso en la danza, dos tiempos grita en perfecta armonía, es mi obra, mi motor, mi alegría. Que cantas en la brisa, tu rugido es mi mayor sonrisa. Te construyo con amor y paciencia. Eres mi escape, mi gran resistencia.
The safety feature is can be a little bit annoying, or it has to have contact with the substrate. This is not advisable. That's it. We're ready to pack everything up and fly over. Wish me luck. See you next time.